All right, so let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION at this hour, where polling stations have opened for the Iraq elections. Now, the elections are happening at a time when Iraq is facing a pretty uncertain future. There are enormous challenges that are staring the country in the face. The economy has been struggling due to years of conflict, corruption and the COVID-19 pandemic. Infrastructure is crumbling. Powerful paramilitary and other militia groups threaten the authority of the state, and hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced after years of war. The Iraqis are expecting some kind of a meaningful change in their day-to-day lives. The election is expected to shape Iraq's foreign policy at a time. This, of course, is going to be very crucial in West Asia. The election also will witness many firsts. The voting is taking place under a new election law that divides Iraq into two smaller constituencies. This allows for more independent candidates to participate. The European Union and the United Nations have also deployed dozens of election observers who will monitor the voting. There will be about 600 international observers, including 150 from the United Nations. Now, interestingly, Iraq has also introduced biometric cards for voters. This is to prevent abuse of electronic voter cards. They will be disabled for about 72 hours after each person has cast his vote. Now, this is to avoid any kind of double voting from taking place. Security has been beefed up. All airports across Iraq will remain shut till Monday morning. And despite all these measures in place, there are reports of intimidation, vote buying and manipulation. So who is competing this time round? Well, groups from the Iraq's Shiite factions dominate the electoral politics. This has been the case since Saddam Hussein was toppled. It was the time when the country's power base shifted from the minority Sunnis to the majority Shias in the country. However, the Shiite groups are divided. A tight race is expected between the political bloc of the influential Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr and also the Fatah alliance led by the parliamentary leader Hadi al-Amiri. Now, young Iraqis are very divided on whether to take part in this vote. In 2019, demonstrations were met with deadly force. At least about 600 people were killed over a period of a few months. Authorities eventually gave in and called the election early. However, the death toll and also the heavy-handed crackdown has prompted the young demonstrators and voters to call for a boycott of these polls. The Iraq's top Shiite cleric Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani has called for a large voter turnout. He has said that voting remains the best way for the Iraqis to take part in shaping the country's future. Now, the 2018 election also witnessed a record low turnout of about 44% of eligible voters who cast their ballots. Results were widely contested. And now to give us more updates in terms of what this election, of course, means and what are the challenges for Iraq ahead, we are joined in by senior journalist Hawar Ali, who's joining us live from Erbil. Mr. Ali, thank you very much indeed for joining us on this broadcast on WION. Now, this is a crucial election that is underway in Iraq. It was originally slated to be held in 2022, but it has been preponed on the back of the demonstrations by the youth in Iraq. Now, what is expected of this election? Will there be any meaningful change for the common Iraqis?
Thank you for your time, Mohammed. In reality, still the big this election expected that the big party still will get the votes, and all the same faces who have controlled Iraq in the last since 2003, the invasion of US since 2003. They expected the big Iraqi Shia militia parties to dominate once again. I don't think there would be a lot of changes. All the same politicians will dominate the political circle, but the new things, as we say, it would be, as you mentioned in your intro, that this new election is done by a new law, or a new law has passed for this election, which enables the independence candidates to have more chance to go to the next parliament, Iraqi parliament. So some of those independents expected to be chosen or win their seats, but I don't expect a major change, and I expect the powerful Shia groups to dominate in Baghdad and southern cities as well. In the Kurdish north, I expect all the major parties or the bigger Kurdish parties to dominate as well, and the Sunnis as well in the middle of the country.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Ali, one of the things that international observers are, of course, looking at is the participation by voters. The last time a general election of this scale was held was in 2018, where just about 44% of the eligible voters cast their vote. Now, this time round as well, the youth are extremely unhappy and many have called for the boycott of the elections. Is there a fear that not many may actually turn out to cast their vote today?
There's major fear that especially who are not happy with the politicians, especially in middle and they are not happy with the authorities. There's major fear that they won't join. But as I said, in Iraq, the reality is there's the three major ethnic groups: Sunni, Shias, and Kurds. So when it comes to a competition or an election, most of people try to go to the elections and to protect their one's rights or their own ethnic rights. So I expect maybe 50 or 60% of voter turnout for today, which is high compared to 2018. But as I said, there's fear that especially among the youth, that they won't vote today. But the older generation, I expect to go in big numbers and vote for the chosen candidates.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Hawadli, for joining us from Erbil and giving us all those insights, although it was a pretty bad line there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.